In this Warframe guide, I'm gonna show you how to get loads of platinum entirely for free and fast. If you run Warframe as a purely free player, then you will encounter quite some painful limitations already pretty early on, be it the color palettes, long crafting times, or the highly limited inventory space for weapons and warframes. So if you can't pull out the American Express, you're doomed to be a second-class player. Or so it would seem. Because today, we're not only gonna go over how you can earn platinum for free, but also how to do it super simple, even for newer players. A massive thank you to all generous channel members who help me keep the lights on. If you too want to support what I do and secure yourself those nice emotes right here, then you can do so with the join button down below. But for now, let's jump right into it. Getting the premium currency of a game for free always sounds a bit shady, scammy, and clickbaity, but I promise you it really is none of this. Because in Warframe, like with many other MMOs, you can trade with other players in a way that either you exchange the items themselves or you sell items to other players in exchange for platinum from their side. What we're going to do today is first, I will tell you a little bit about trade in Warframe itself, and then we're going to go over which things you can sell to make a lot of platinum fast. So first, let's look at the trade. I'm trying to keep it short because I think most of you already know one or two things about trading, but just in general, what is trade in Warframe? How does it work? First of all, there are two requirements that you have to have in order to even be able to trade in the game. That being, first, you have to have two-factor authentication with your account, and second, you have to be at least Mastery Rank 2. Now for the two-factor authentication, if you don't have that, it's really simple. Just open your web browser, go to the Warframe website, log into your account, go to account management, and then you can switch it on. You will get a confirmation email to your Warframe account email, and bam, there you go. With the Mastery Rank lockout, that's also really simple because, let's be real here, you're gonna be Mastery Rank 2 on your second day of playing anyway. And before that, you're not gonna need platinum in the first place, so you don't have the need to trade, which means you don't have a problem. But now that you're set up for trade, how do we get the business rolling? First of all, there are two places in the game where you can trade with other players. The first one being Maru's Bazaar on Mars, and the second one being your clan's dojo. If you're trying to hit Maru's Bazaar, you just fly there, go into the room, set up a shop with your offers, and then you stand around there, do nothing, and hope that somebody will come by who, by chance, wants to buy whatever you're offering. In short, it sucks, don't do it ever. What you want to do is be part of a clan. I know I'm telling this a lot in all of my videos, which means as soon as you are in one, you can go to the clan's dojo and access the trading terminal that will probably be in that dojo. If not, either build one yourself or kick your clan leader's butt if they don't do it for you. Now with that trading terminal, you can now invite whoever you like to trade with into your clan's dojo, access the terminal, and initiate a trade process with them. Then both of you will select what you want to trade, and that's basically already the most important part. However, it begs one question. In order to be able to trade with someone, you actually gotta find someone who wants to buy whatever you're selling or who sells whatever you're trying to buy. Where do you find these people? Again, there are two places. Either the in-game Warframe trade chat right here, or the external website warframe.market. Let's go over the trade chat real quick first. The trade chat seems very chaotic, a lot of messages being posted, a lot of shortcuts and linked items, and you don't really know what is going on, and if you don't know the market, then you're up for a bad time because most people who engage in trade chat know what things are worth, and if you don't know it, then they are going to rip you off. Now, I'm not saying that trade chat doesn't have a place at all, but I would say for a beginning trader or for somebody who simply likes some order, Warframe.market, the external website, would be the place to go. If you've ever played an MMO, then you're probably familiar with the concept of auction houses. Players list items for sale and other players can buy them via the auction house. Warframe, sadly, does not have an in-game auction house. So Warframe.market is a fan-driven website that basically tries to fill that void. On Warframe.market, you're gonna find every tradable item in the entire game with a list of everybody who's currently online in the game and selling it. You can even click a little button to pre-generate a message that you can copy-paste without change into the Warframe in-game chat to directly DM the person who's selling the item, telling them that you would like to buy it. And if you're trying to get into business yourself, then having a Warframe.market account is an absolute must. I don't want to go too deep into Warframe.market because actually how to create an account and everything is explained on the site itself, but if for whatever reason you want to have a guide on how exactly to use Warframe.market, then you can put it in the comments down below. Maybe I will be able to get to it at some point. So, long story short, trading is ideally be done in your clan's dojo. You can either find people to trade with in the trade chat or at Warframe.market. I personally really like Warframe.market, and speaking of like, yeah, you know what's coming, it's a YouTube video, so thank you for your support. It's easily said, but it really means a lot. But with all that being said, which things now are you going to trade to get a lot of platinum, to get a lot of bang for your buck? The first and also well-established method that I would recommend would be void relics. Now, no matter how far you're in the game, chances are you've already opened one or multiple void relics before. And the fun thing is, all the prime parts that you can get out of every void relic are tradable. Some of them are worth not that much, and others are really rare. Now, with prime parts, there are tons and tons of different economic theories about how you can best make platinum with them, but I personally want to focus on two distinct things right here in this video. One being prime junk and the other one being specific prime parts. Let's first go over prime junk. Prime junk is a term for selling random prime items from random relics for a fixed price to other players, so they can either use them for their own sets or sell them off for ducats when Barakatir comes around. So as soon as you have at least 6 prime items, no matter which ones, you can go into the trade chat and type "wanna sell prime junk 6 for 12. What that means is you're selling 6 random prime items for 12 platinum. The good thing here is you get rid of all the stuff that you don't need, and everybody basically agrees on the price that 6 items should be paid for with 12 platinum. Now, there are variations of this where people only sell silver items which are worth more, or only gold items or whatever, but what I personally would recommend is sell prime junk, primarily copper prime junk, for 12 platinum, or on weekends where Barakatir is around, you can actually go so far to sell 6 items for 15 platinum, because then people are more desperate to buy stuff. The only important thing to know here for beginners is that when you're selling prime junk, you're always selling 6 items at the same time, because there's a maximum of 6 items that can be traded within one trading process. So just take those random relics, run some missions, grab whatever you can get out of these, and whatever is bronze is probably not as valuable, and you can sell it as prime junk. Now, the other way on how to make platinum with prime items that I want to present to you today is a bit different. Because here, you're not just selling random prime stuff, you're selling specific prime items. Every time a new prime frame is introduced to the game with their signature weapons and everything, there will be a literal run on those items within the game. There are tons of rich veteran players who do not care about the price, they just want the new Warframe and they want it right now. And you can benefit from this greatly. On the first 1 or 2 days after release, there will not be a great supply of those parts of the new Prime Warframe, which means that the prices will be way up in the stratosphere. So if you want to benefit from it, then you want to sell those new Prime Warframe parts as soon as humanly possible. How are you going to do that? Well, very simple. What you want to do as soon as the new relics with the new stuff are introduced to the game is you want to go and buy relic packs, as many as you possibly can. And you know what that means. Have your syndicates at maximum standing so you can drain all that standing just for relic packs. Go take your steel essence to Teshin, get more relic packs. Whatever means you have, get as many of those relic packs as you possibly can. Reason being, those relic packs will contain quite some of the new relics, so you don't have to go and farm for them. you can go and open them up right away and be part of the very first batch of people trying to sell the new Prime stuff, getting those really high early adapter prices. My personal recommendation would be take all the void traces that you have, make those new relics radiant, and go into the recruit chat and look for a red share group. You know, a group of people where all of them want to run the same radiant relic to increase the chance that you're gonna get that very rare golden item from the relic. Because if the Warframe is very new and not a lot of people are selling it yet, and you get that new Warframe part, the golden one, the rarest one, and you sell that, you will make crap loads of platinum with it. So go and mark the next Prime release red in your calendar. And by the way, in case you're wondering how the entire Relic and Prime system works in the first place, I want to make a dedicated video about that very thing here soon. So in case you don't want to miss out on that day one, you might want to think about leaving the channel a sub. Welcome to the crew. The next thing on our list is again something that you can benefit off even if you're still a very fresh player, and that is selling Ayatan statues. Once you've reached Mars and unlocked Maru's Bazaar, you can do one weekly Ayatan treasure hunt with her. Just walk up to her and tell her that you want to do that. This short 2-minute mission will always reward you with one random Ayatan statue. In your mod collection, you can then socket those Ayatan statues with Ayatan stars that you're probably gonna have lying around already, and either you bring them back to Maru to gain endo from them, or you could go to Warframe Market and list them for sale. Now, the standard Ayatan statues sell for around 10 plat a piece if they're fully socketed with stars, which, to be honest, is not that much. But as a new player, if you're in dire need for a little bit of plat for that next Warframe slot or those next 2 weapon slots, you can just go and sell 1 or 2 of your Ayatan statues, get that platinum, and have some more slots rolling. And if you're a more advanced player, you can get the whole Ayatan statue business to the next level. Because as soon as you finished every single mission on the star chart, you will have unlocked the Arbitrations. Arbitrations is a specific game mode where you only run endless missions, and you will be rewarded with crap loads of Ayatan statues in those mission rewards. And speaking about arbitrations, the next product on today's list is going to be a central and integral part of the entire game of Warframe. That being, of course, mods. With over 1,000 different mods in the game, of course there are tons of mods that can be sold for a profit. However, I want to specialize on 3 different categories of mods in this video because they are specifically profitable. And starting into the mods we do with the so-called galvanized mods. As I mentioned earlier, you can run arbitrations as soon as you finished every single mission on the star chart. Within those arbitrations, there will be so-called arbitration drones, and if you shoot them down, they have a chance to drop a so-called Vitus Essence. With Vitus Essence, you can go and buy galvanized mods. In order to do that, just go to a random relay, walk up to the room of the Arbiters of Hexes, and talk to this guy right here. He sells a couple of galvanized mods, and most of them sell for quite a good amount of platinum. The great thing here is, just by running the arbitrations, you're automatically gonna get the Vitus Essence and also the Ayatan statues in the mission rewards, meaning double the sellable products for the same amount of playtime. However, with galvanized mods and arbitrations and all those Ayatan statues that come with it being something that is not really accessible at the very start of the game, let's look at a product that kinda is, and that would be corrupted mods. Now, the good thing about corrupted mods is you can go and farm them as early as demos, because on demos you will find mission nodes that take place in the Derelict tileset, and that Derelict tileset has something very special, a so-called vault door. Every Derelict mission is guaranteed to spawn one of these vault doors right here. In order to open it, you need one of 4 dragon keys. Those dragon keys can be built in your foundry with the blueprint coming from the Oricon lab in your clan's dojo. So either build all 4 keys and take them with you at the same time into the mission and open the vault door yourself, or you run as a 4-player squad where each player takes a different key with them. Now, every one of these vaults is guaranteed to give you one corrupted mod. Corrupted mods are those ones that have one positive and one negative stat, like Blind Rage, which gives you more ability strength but less efficiency, or Heavy Caliber with more damage but less accuracy, and so on and so forth. Not all of these ones are actually good and commonly used, but there are also a ton of those corrupted mods that are absolutely essential for basically every Warframe build and also some of the weapon builds. Meaning if you run as a 4-player squad and find the Vault Door early on, do that over and over again, and amass some of those really good corrupted mods, you can expect them to sell for 10 to 15 plat a piece. And the good thing is, since it is on demos, as I said earlier, you can already do it pretty early on in the game. Just one thing to note here, carrying a Dragon Key with you will give you a quite strong debuff. So maybe you want to spend some time getting used to that before hopping into the mission and have a bad experience. And the last mod category on today's list that I want to talk about would be the so-called Requiem mods. Now, these mods will also not be accessible at the very start of the game. To get access to them, you will have to have the main quest line finished until I think after the War Within, but I could be wrong about this. So what's so special about those Requiem mods? Requiem mods are mods that go onto your Parazon, and they are used to down Kuva Liches and Sisters of Pavos. Given the fact that those Liches and Sisters tend to have really awesome weapons, many players farm them, and farming them they do a lot. And the good thing for you is, you can be the provider of those Requiem mods for those Lich runners out there. On Warframe.market, each and every one of those Requiem mods sells for around 10 platinum. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but there's a catch. Because the Requiem relics, out of which you get the Requiem mods, are also being sold on Warframe.market, however, they go away for around 3 plat a piece. So all you really need to do is bulk buy those relics for like 3 platinum a piece. Maybe you can even get a deal for 2 a piece in the trade chat if you ask nicely. And then the only thing you need to do is open those Requiem relics in a normal Requiem relic opening mission, where the chance is pretty high that you're gonna get some kind of Requiem mod out of them. Then you just go take that mod and resell it for around 10 platinum, which means you will have made a profit of 7 platinum out of the relic that you bought. This is extremely cool because the only thing that you do is opening relics, which is a very fast process, and you can expect a profit of 7 platinum per relic opened. That's amazing. Just make sure that you run it in the public lobby. In case your relic does not contain one of those Requiem mods, then you have 3 chances that one of the other relics in the group will have one, and you can just go and pick that one. But maybe you just don't feel like selling a lot of small stuff for small amounts of platinum. Maybe you just want to score the real big deals that make literal bank. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Because one very prominent thing to sell is RIVENS. If you don't know what a Riven mod is, then you probably haven't unlocked it yet. In that case, just continue playing and have fun. At some point you will have them. But if you have Rivens unlocked already, then you know that a great Riven for a great and popular weapon will sell for a ton of platinum. The thing with Riven selling is, it's basically the Warframe equivalent to being a professional gambler and make your living that way. You can either be extremely lucky and have a god Riven for a great weapon and make a ton of platinum, or you just over and over again get bad Rivens or don't get lucky with the stats and they're worth jack. So there are 2 ways of how to go about it. Either you just sell the veiled Riven, meaning you don't open up the Riven, you don't unveil for which weapon it actually is, or you unveil them, hope they will be for a popular gun, and then re-roll them with Kuva to make them as good as possible and have a great product that gives you a big payout. In the first case, a veiled Riven, no matter if rifle, shotgun or melee, can be expected to sell for between 18 and 22 plat depending on the day and the mood of the buyers. However, with the unveiled Riven, things look very differently. With a crappy gun, it's basically worthless. However, with a really popular gun, let's say a Fenmore Riven that also has a really good stat on it, you can make hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 platinum, depending on what people are willing to pay. Now, the obvious difficulty here is of course that in comparison to normal mods, which are always the same, every Riven mod is completely unique. You will never find someone selling exactly the same mods with exactly the same stats and exactly the same numbers, meaning it can be quite tricky to determine for what you want to sell it. There are of course websites like Riven.market or the Riven auctions on Warframe.market, but they will also just give you a rough gut feeling of how much your Riven might be worth. At the end of the day, if you want to go for Riven trading, you just need to have experience. I personally don't have it, which is why I can't give you any specific tips on how to best sell your Rivens. Just make sure that you don't spend all your fortunes on buying someone else's Riven, because you might be trapped into a very high price that a Riven would never really be worth. Next, Arcanes. Oh boy, Arcanes. Arcanes can make you a ton of money if you get lucky with them. Now, there are tons of different Arcanes for weapons and Warframes and your amps and all whatnot, but my personal opinion is that the most profitable source for the most profitable Arcanes would be the ones that you get from Eidolon hunting. A lot of very, very, very important and detrimental Arcanes in the game can only be accessed by Eidolon hunting. I mean stuff like Arcane Avenger, which boosts your crits, or Arcane Energize, which is quite literally the best Arcane in the entire game. So if you go, hunt Eidolons, get some of these Arcanes and then sell them in whichever quantity you have, you can make crazy platinum with that if you get lucky with the Arcane drop. For example, Arcane Energize sells for 90 platinum a piece. That is quite a lot, and also Eidolons are an activity that the community has optimized the literal hell out of. If you like the Eidolons and you have an efficient team, you can easily expect to catch 6 times all 3 Eidolons in one night in the Plains of Eidolon. A good team can do that, and if you're part of one of those teams, then you can expect to have a lot of sellable Arcanes at the end of the night. And last, but definitely not least, my personal favorite platinum farm, and that would be selling Endo. But Blacky, wait, you cannot sell Endo, can you? Well, you would be right, but also not. While it's true you cannot sell Endo directly, what you can do is buying a mod on rank 0, then using Endo to get it to max rank and sell that mod on max rank back to the market, making a fat platinum profit. Now, there are tons and tons of ways to gain Endo fast, and I've made a dedicated video on that already. But the main thing here is, and the reason why I personally love Endo for plat farming, is because it is consistent. If you go with the most consistent farming method for Endo, you can expect to make around 1,000 Endo per minute. You need 30,000 Endo to max out a rank 10 gold mod, which means you could theoretically max 2 of them out per hour. Now, what sales price could you expect? For the most commonly used and popular rank 10 gold mods, you can expect them to sell for around 85 to 90 platinum, while they can be purchased at rank 0 for around 10. Meaning if you buy one, max it out, and then resell it, you can expect a platinum profit of around 75 to 80 platinum per mod, which in turn again means around 150 platinum per hour. Now sure, if you go Eidolon hunting and you get really lucky with your drops, it can very well be that this makes you more platinum per hour, but the good thing about Endo is it is so consistent. You can always expect a consistent outcome of around 1,000 Endo per hour, and there's always a big market of people willing to buy your maxed out mods. One cheeky little trick here would be, instead of just taking your Endo, maxing out a mod, and then putting that mod out on the market, just go to your Warframe.market page and list not only one level 10 gold mod, but list different popular level 10 gold mods all at the same time. The thing here is, you do not have to have those mods in your possession already at max rank 10. It's enough if you just have the mods on rank 0, list them as rank 10 mods on Warframe Market, and then just wait for somebody to ask you to buy one of them. As soon as you then have someone to buy it, you just go to your mod collection, max out that specific mod with the Endo that you have in the bank, and give it to that person. Which is really cool, because it means you don't have to commit your resources before selling, and also it's really easy for you to find a buyer because you can just list multiple different mods, effectively increasing your potential customer base. As you see, selling Endo can be insanely profitable, so if you want to do that, then you absolutely must check out this video right here next. Another massive shout out to Akimbo Fate, Niels V, Geronimo, and all other generous channel members. We see each other hopefully in the next one, and until then, as always, good loot.